I agree with all that. I've learned a lot from Dacher about awe and his research. I didn't know that awe is one of the fundamental human emotions. I thought it was a social construct, but in fact it's a biological thing. And one of the features of his research, and that chimes with what Joan said, is this idea that awe is in an oppositional relationship with the self or the ego. And that you need to transcend for powerful. I mean, there's different kinds of awe. There's everyday awe. There's the awe of the small, the wonder in appreciating the small, a Zen awe, if you will. But in terms of the kind of transformative experiences of awe, the ego is either shrunk or disappeared. And I wrote in my book about some very powerful experiences of awe I had on psychedelics, and psychedelics or entheogens are an interesting tool for occasioning awe. I mean, we actually can occasion awe with a molecule, which raises lots of interesting questions. But central to it is this sense of yourself or ego. In my case, I can remember one particular episode of just looking out and seeing myself exploded in a little cloud of Post-it notes.
It's happening right now.
How did you feel about that, Michael?
Well, the strange thing about that was I was completely, and now you hear this other I, right, which I need to try to define, but I was taking this in from a perspective that was completely untroubled by this seeming catastrophe. And that, to me, was a form of awe, too, acquiring a perspective on myself that was not me. It was a very objectified, universal perspective. But when the ego, if you let it go, and I think you're right, that it fights a battle to the death to preserve itself, and mine certainly did, and I think that's what a bad trip is very often, is resisting what's happening to your sense of self. But if you feel safe enough and that you're willing or can surrender, this amazing thing happens, because when your self is gone, the walls between you and the other, whatever the other is, whether it's nature or other people or the universe, come down. And you merge. And for me, it was a piece of music that I became identical with. Bach's Unaccompanied Cello Suite No. 2 in D minor. And there was no difference between me and that, and for a period of time. And that is an experience of awe that has stayed with me. So there are many other ways to achieve it, though. I think it's important to understand that there are many doors that take you into awe. I've been focusing on one in particular recently, but there's certainly other ways to get there.
Definitely.
Which one is that?
Well, it's a shortcut. It's an awe shortcut, I think. Although that makes it sound easy, and it's not.